now time for the Billy C. Show, part of the BillyCBoxing.com network.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C. Studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for the Billy C. Show. Good morning, good day, good evening, whenever you're watching, whenever you're listening. I hope you're doing okay. Today's show, she's being brought to you in part by my book. Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet, is available right now where all good books are sold, and you can get a copy of this book right now while you're watching or listening to this very show. Just visit BarnesandNoble.com or Amazon.com. Find out why I'm so adamant about getting Tom Molyneux's story told. It's been a few days, a little more, I guess, since the last live show, but we are planning some great things for 2019, so stay tuned for some news on that. Today, I wanted to give a preview of the upcoming World Heavyweight title fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, with
broken air conditioning, $4,400. Failing refrigerator, $2,500. Don't let outrageous repair and replacement bills like these bust your budget. Get the First American Home Warranty Plan. And when a covered appliance or system breaks, we'll repair it or replace it for you.
We had a high-end dishwasher go kaput. They put it in a brand new dishwasher.
We have plans that cover air conditioning, most appliances, plus heating, plumbing, electrical systems, and much more. Plans start as low as $25 a month. Why let a major appliance or system breakdown bust your budget or go through the hassle of finding trustworthy service people? Last year alone, we saved our customers over $120 million. Don't wait until something breaks and you're stuck with a huge bill.
You save a lot of money.
It's absolutely worth it.
If you don't have First American Warranty, get it.
Call 1-800.
now time for the Billy C Show, part of the BillyCBoxing.com network.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C Studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for the Billy C Show. Good morning, good day, good evening. Glad to be here again. We were just experiencing some technical problems, so I apologize for that. So let's get rolling right here, right now. Coming up in a little bit, we're going to have my man Dax Khan join us and Alex Perpali. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the fight from last night. Dimitri Bivol wins a unanimous decision over Bivol-Pascal to retain his WBA light heavyweight world title. He improves to 15-0 with 11 knockouts. The judges scored at 117-111, and two had it 119-109. My thoughts on this fight real quickly was that everybody was expecting Dimitri Bivol to knock out Bivol-Pascal. And quite honestly, Bivol-Pascal is a shell of the fighter that he used to be. But what impressed me, Bivol-Pascal impressed me because he lasted. He went the 12 rounds. But what impressed me about Bivol was that he showed, for a guy that's as young as Dimitri is, and for a guy with as few professional fights as Dimitri has, he showed me a lot. Kind of dives in at you, and is Muro Don Akhmediev, and I know I murdered that name. Improved to 5-0 with 4 knockouts when he stopped Isaac Zarate in the 9th round. Zarate drops to 16-3, and another heavyweight to keep an eye on, Sergey Kuzman, improved to 14-0 with 11 knockouts when he took care of Laron Mitchell, who drops to 16-2. Laron Mitchell was a up-and-coming fighter until he suffered his first loss. Now he looks like he might be a gatekeeper. I don't know, but we'll see on Laron. And also one other fight of note I wanted to mention, Denis Ledebev improved to 32-2 with 23 knockouts when he took care of Mike Wilson, who drops his first fight of his career. He drops to 19-1, 117-111, and 119-109 with the way the judges scored that one. One other announcement I want to make before we jump into this breakdown is the Errol Spence Jr. against Mikey Garcia. This fight was announced a couple of weeks ago, and I just want to say this. I love this fight. I've been reading a lot of negativity concerning this fight. Saying that Mikey Garcia should have possibly went a different route, maybe like Lomachenko type of a thing, which would have been a great fight. But you know what? I give him a lot of credit for taking this fight. And to be honest with you, not many fighters today do this type of thing. Well, they'll really challenge themselves. And I tell you, should Mikey Garcia come out victorious, I don't think that anybody can doubt this guy or give him his rightful place in the pound-for-pound rankings. Mikey Garcia seems like a fighter who's kind of forgotten. Errol Spence Jr., extremely talented fighter. Other welterweights seemingly are avoiding him. But the truth of the matter on Errol Spence Jr. is, who's he really fought besides Kell Brook? I mean, his resume doesn't jump out at you. So I think this is an intriguing fight. Spence is going to be obviously way bigger than Garcia. But Mikey Garcia, the one thing that I've always liked about this kid is that, if you throw 3 punches at him, he's going to turn around and throw 6 back at you. He is very capable and proficient at winning rounds. And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing in the sport of boxing. So we'll touch on all of this stuff quickly before I get my man Dax on. I just wanted to talk a little about the upcoming fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. First and foremost, Tyson Fury was he's only 30 years old, by the way. He seemingly has been around for a while, but he's only 30 years old. he did take the almost 3-year layoff after beating Vladimir Klitschko. Went through some mental issues as well as some abuse issues, etc., etc., etc. He came back in June of this year with a 4th-round knockout over Zafar Sarifi, which was kind of a joke of a fight. Kissing the guy and everything else. But when that fight happened, I said, okay, Tyson Fury's on his way back. He's going to, climb the rankings again. And then immediately he gets raised highly in the rankings, computer rankings specifically, becomes a top 10 fighter. And then in August of this year, he went and beat Francisco Piata, via a 10-round decision. He wanted to go the rounds. And all of a sudden I said, okay, he'll fight another decent heavyweight, maybe an actually ranked heavyweight in somebody's division. And then lo and behold, we get the announcement that he's taking on Deontay Wilder. As far as Deontay Wilder's concerned, you guys have heard my opinions on Deontay for quite some time. The man has extreme punching power, but that's it. He hasn't demonstrated any other talent in the ring as far as I'm concerned. He has no footwork. He displayed a jab, really effective jab, I should say, one time in his career. That was his first fight when he won the title. And, obviously against Bermane Stiverne. But since then, he's been a headhunter in his fights with Artur Spitska and even Chris Arreola, for that matter, and Johan Duhaupas, Eric Molina. All those fights, he went out looking to knock his opponents out. And he was losing those fights until he knocked out his opponent. Now, he's been able to rely on his punching power throughout his career. His best fight of his career, actually, in my opinion, was his last fight against Luis Ortiz in an extremely entertaining fight. And I thought that Deontay Wilder had arrived. This was a guy that, stood in there with really his first big test, even though Luis Ortiz isn't a power puncher, but he's a very slick, athletic fighter. And Deontay displayed a chin in that fight, being extremely hurt, but came back and won. I started to give Deontay Wilder a lot of credit. Then when the fight that we all wanted to see, Deontay Wilder against Anthony Joshua, broke down, depending upon which side of the fence you're on, some people feel that it was Deontay Wilder who made that fight not happen. Some people think Anthony Joshua made that fight not happen. At the end of the day, I think that the reason why the fight didn't happen is because of Deontay Wilder. He was being foolish with his financial demands. Lo and behold, they cut a deal with Tyson Fury. And, should Deontay Wilder win this fight, it's going to put him in a very good position, bargaining-wise, to have a showdown with Anthony Joshua. Now we look at this fight and we say to ourselves, well, how is this fight going to fare? When I look at Tyson Fury, I see a fighter that really, when you look at his own resume, his biggest win was against Vladimir Klitschko. When you look through the rest of the 26 fights under his belt, who jumps out at you? Derek Chisora is just a barroom brawler, just like Joey Abel. Kevin Johnson was a good test for Tyson Fury, but again, Martin Rogan, Nevin Pikic, Vinny Matalone, all barroom brawlers that Tyson Fury was able to come out on top. I give Deontay Wilder credit for being better than all those guys, to be honest with you. The only fighter that you look at Tyson Fury, and a lot was said, and really, in my opinion, a lot was shown to us when he fought Kevin Johnson. I'm sorry, when he fought Steve USS Cunningham. Cunningham did not win the fight, but he rocked Tyson Fury. And he showed us that Tyson Fury likes to lean on people and do all these things, especially when he has a size advantage like he has most of the time. That fight made me realize that Tyson Fury, if he gets caught, is going to go to sleep. Unfortunately, since the Cunningham fight, wins over Abel, Chisora, Christian Hammer, Klitschko, Sarifi, and Pieta all showed that he's slick enough to avoid that contact. Not that the last two fighters on his resume can punch anywhere near as hard as Deontay Wilder. But Deontay Wilder doesn't move in the ring as well. He is going to be head hunting. It's going to be interesting to see if Tyson Fury can tie him up and do all those things. So we're going to be talking about that throughout the show today. Again, I apologize for people that have hung in there during this live broadcast to wait for everything to come together. We're in the middle of an ice storm here in upstate New York, and I was surprised that we even got the ball rolling here. But listen, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, Dax Khan will join us, so don't go anywhere.
Billy C will be right back.
Broken air conditioning, $4,400. Failing refrigerator, $2,500. Don't let outrageous repair and replacement bills like these bust your budget. Get the First American Home Warranty Plan. And when a covered appliance or system breaks, we'll repair it or replace it for you.
We had a high-end dishwasher go kaput. They put it in a brand new dishwasher.
We have plans that cover air conditioning, most appliances, plus heating, plumbing, electrical systems, and much more. Plans start as low as $25 a month. Why let a major appliance or system breakdown bust your budget or go through the hassle of finding trustworthy service people? Last year alone, we saved our customers over $120 million. Don't wait until something breaks and you're stuck with a huge bill.
You save a lot of money.
It's absolutely worth it.
If you don't have First American Warranty, get it.
Call 1-800-946-6234 for your free no-obligation quote.
Need relief from backaches and stiffness in your hips or down your legs? Then you need Dr. Ho's Back Relief Belt. The innovative technology works to support and decompress your spine. And now it's covered by Medicare.
Every patient with back pain should be wearing this belt.
Nothing gave me instant relief except for the Dr. Ho belt.
Feel good while standing, walking, driving, doing housework, and while laying down. And now Dr. Ho's patented belt is available at our best price ever. It's even covered by Medicare. Order now and get the easy-to-use hand pump and back rehabilitation DVD free.
You know, similar belts can cost you almost $1,000, but my belts won't cost you $500, not $300, not even $200. I will give you my special TV price.
And remember, Dr. Ho's belt is covered by Medicare.
If you know a friend or family member that suffers with pain, get them my system today. Help them live with less pain, be more active, and get back to doing the things they love. Give them the gift of health.
Listen to this important message. If you owe money to the IRS, you will want to hear this. Penalties and interest compound daily on your back taxes, putting you under a mountain of debt. Tax 10,000 has years of experience connecting people with tax resolution specialists. Working through the IRS Fresh Start program, they will handle all the necessary forms, and if you qualify, you may end up saving thousands of dollars. Call Tax 10,000 at 800-773-4604. Listen.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're watching and listen to the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us. And speaking about being with us, joining us right now, all the way from, well, about 2.5 hours south of here, is my man Dax Khan. Good morning, Dax.
Hey, good morning.
Well, good.
Got some sound here.
Yeah, I know, man. That was, I was like, oh, no. But before we get...
Everything.
Before we get started talking about the Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder fight, I wanted to get your thoughts on, and first of all, I want to compliment you because you've been high on this kid Bivol since he busted onto the scene. I mean, you were saying long before he even picked up a title that he was going to be the light heavyweight, and he certainly looked it last night. I thought that I was so impressed, Dax, because he looked like a cagey old veteran, just doing what he had to do to win. He poured it on when he had to, was safe when he had to. I mean, aside from the knockout, in my opinion, he put on a complete performance. What was your thoughts of the fight?
What impressed me most about Bivol, and has from the start, is the composure. And composure and how you handle yourself inside that ring is something that it separates a very good fighter to a great fighter. Take Muhammad Ali, for example. His composure, the ability to stick with his game plan, whether or not he was under fire on the ropes. Let's use his fight against George Foreman, for example, or his fight against Joe Frazier when he was dropped for the first time down in Madison Square Garden, how he got up and he just continued and stuck with his game plan. And you see that with Bivol, who is a fighter, with far less experience, of course, but he never changes his game plan. He waits for that knockout to come, and he sticks with what he's going to do. He has tunnel vision. He has a high guard. He mixes up his combinations well, and he knows that he's a small heavyweight, a light heavyweight, a fighter that knows his limitations and uses his other quality, his other natural gifts to compensate for that is what really brings him to the next level, in my opinion. And that's what we seen last night with Bivol-Pascal, and we also seen that in the fight with Isaac Chilemba. The down part about it is Bivol has scored some sensational knockouts, but because that happens to fans, Bill, it becomes sort of unfair. They expect that to happen every time. That's what happened with Gennady Golovkin, and a lot of guys waited him out. But the problem with Dimitri Bivol is Dimitri Bivol's only 27 years old. You're not going to wait him out, and he's already talking about moving down to a weight class that's comfortable for him. And I feel bad for any 168-pound fighter who has to step in a ring with this kid, because that's when you really see the power.
When I heard that, I was actually pleasantly surprised because I think he's dominating at 175, but I think at 168, I don't see a guy that could beat him. I mean, he does look small as a light heavyweight. At least he did against Pascal. And Pascal, let's be real, Pascal is nothing like he was 10 years ago. But I thought he put on a good display. He could have laid down in that fight, and he didn't.
No, absolutely. But he's fighting Bivol. I know he's doing what we always criticize, is learning on the job, so to speak. But he's learning on the job against very good guys. He's not fighting, nobodies that you've never heard of. He's fighting whoever's available, because the other champions right now either are not going to fight him or they already have something set up. We know that Adonis Stevenson next week is going to fight Alexander Vodzik. So, Dimitri Bivol is doing what Dimitri Bivol needs to do. And, Bivol, believe it or not, he has been seen on the day of a weigh-in, just hours before a weigh-in, eating a full meal. So that tells you exactly how small of light heavyweight he is. Sometimes he actually eat more to beef up to that, to make sure he maintains that. He only gained 6 pounds overnight.
Yeah, no, it shows you that, but at least by today's standards, he's fighting out of a weight class, even though we're always complaining that these guys dry out so much that they're fighting out of a weight class the night of the fight. So it's a strange. And
that's a bonus, though, and that's another bonus. That's smart, Bill. He's fighting where he's not draining his body, and so it totally eliminates a lot of things when you're that smart. And even if he fights at 168 pounds and he gains that 10 to 12 pounds overnight, Again, he's not fighting out of his weight class, and he's going to carry that power with him. So Dimitri Bivol, in my opinion, he's going to end up doing, I don't say he's going to be the top pound-for-pound fighter in the sport, but I think at the rate he's going to reach that goal of at least hitting the top 10 within the next couple of years.
Well, the one thing is that the one thing I noticed that did not happen to him, there was no fatigue at all in that fight for Bivol. I mean, he went, from the start to the end, and I never saw him breathing hard. And I'll tell you the truth, in that fight, from the fourth round on, I mean, he owned the fight from the first round, but the fourth round on, I saw a change. I said to myself, Pascal is done. And he kind of surprised me by going the distance, but he decided, I think, in his own mind that he was going to try a late shot at knocking out Bivol, which he tried, and then he just hung on to go the distance. That's what I saw.
Yeah, and that was his only chance. He realized that he was outgunned. Jean Pascal, a few years ago, when his skill set had eroded, not that he's a totally shot fighter, but a few years ago when he was still towards the top of his physical peak, I believe it would have ended the same way. Dimitri Bivol is a guy that goes out there. He's a complete fighter. He's not a puncher like Kovalev, who could box, but his power was his bread and butter. Dimitri Bivol is a boxer, and the power that he has that comes with it just happens to be a little bit of a bonus, into his overall skill set, and that's what separates him from the other guys, in my opinion, right now. And again, the composure. He never gets rattled, and that's why he doesn't get tired. Guys get tired because they get too overexcited. He knows how to compose himself, almost as if somebody who you tell him, take a deep breath, just compose yourself. And then when you see him taking those punches, he covers up tight, almost that Winky Wright defense, the way he just closes himself in there with the high hands and keeps his sides. And he just waits for his guy to let go, and then he goes back to work. And then what you see is he eats 2 or 3 shots that are deflected pretty much by his elbows and his hands. Now the other guy is tired, and they're walking back, and Bivol is calmly working them and breaking them down. We've seen that with Sullivan Barrera, who's a very good fighter.
Yeah, no, he's a complete package. One other thing I wanted to ask you, I briefly talked about Errol Spence against Mikey Garcia. It was announced a couple of weeks ago, along with a bunch of other seemingly decent fights. I know you weren't high on this fight, Dax, but I kind of am, and I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout like a lot of experts think, but I do know one thing, and I said it earlier. I got to give Mikey Garcia a lot of credit. There's very few fighters out there that, seem to do what Mikey Garcia does. A lot of people blame him for avoiding or at least not fighting Lomachenko. But by moving up in weight and fighting a guy like Errol Spence, who many believe is the best welterweight out there, and who many believe is going to actually move, he's big enough to move up to junior middleweight, I give Garcia a lot of credit. And quite honestly, Errol Spence Jr., although he shows a lot of talent, his biggest win was against Kell Brook. What's your thoughts on that fight?
Well, of course you have to love the fact that Mikey Garcia chased Errol Spence. Yeah, I know he had those few fights at 140 pounds, and he did win a title, but Mikey Garcia is literally jumping over a division from 135 to 147. And when you consider the fact how much Errol Spence blows up overnight, Mikey Garcia is going to be in there with a middleweight, and Mikey Garcia is probably going to weigh just slightly over the 147 limit. Now, Mikey Garcia, he's a guy that is versatile. Whether or not he can handle the Errol Spence power, not that Mikey Garcia has ever demonstrated a bad chin, is going to be the only question, the only downfall on that. But, it's a very closely, evenly matched fight in that case, and size is going to be the only difference. But then again, Manny Pacquiao blew through a lot of divisions that we thought many times the size was going to be a factor. So size doesn't always matter. It's that skill set. And we'll see, Errol Spence lately, some of his out of the ring antics, some of the things that he says, Errol Spence's head is getting a little bit too big, and I think Errol Spence might be believing in himself a little too much, especially after that confrontation with Terrence Crawford last week.
The thing about Garcia is that he lets his hands go, and they usually come in with a game plan. He's robotic at times, and I don't know. They obviously think they have a formula to beat Errol Spence. Maybe not so much knocking him out, but I don't know. I'm really interested in the fight, Dax. I know a lot of people think it's going to be a total mismatch, but I'm not so sure. I have a funny feeling about Mikey Garcia, and for some reason the kid doesn't get some of the recognition in my opinion, that he deserves for his accomplishments. He has moved up and down, and he doesn't seem to have missed a beat. And as far as Errol Spence, we all wanted those big fights. And maybe it was unfair to him, but this is a kind of a lose-lose deal for him, because should he destroy Mikey Garcia, everybody's going to say, well, he was so much smaller, So I don't know. I think it's an intriguing fight. I'm looking forward to it.
It's definitely intriguing. I'm looking forward to it as well. At minimum, it's nice to see a fighter, challenging himself, willing to step out of his comfort zone, and willing to say, you know what, I may take a loss, but if I'm going to take a loss, I'm going to go out there against the guy that nobody else wants to fight or nobody else is stepping into the ring with now. And, that's what makes it, a special fight. And that's, what separates Mikey Garcia from a lot of guys. And we speak about the power, referring back to Bivol, Mikey Garcia has gotten a lot of guys out of there in sensational fashion, especially when he won the WBC lightweight title, his first fight back in 2 rounds. He just blasts right through and takes that belt. But, at 140 pounds, it seems like his power wasn't really there. Yet, it seemed it was there respectable enough to keep Broner and, to keep him, his output at a minimal. So the power is probably not going to carry up to 147 and do any damage to Errol Spence. But I think, the power along with that combination punching will be enough to keep Errol Spence from, just trying to walk in and overpower and out-muscle Mikey Garcia. Who's going to win? I don't know, but I agree it's going to be a very good fight.
You just mentioned Broner, and, of course, I know you weren't too interested in the Manny Pacquiao against Broner fight. But, I find what I find intriguing about this matchup is that it's happening. That's the most intriguing part, because, to me, Manny Pacquiao is in a lose-lose situation in this fight. He seemingly is fighting this fight once again to earn a shot at Floyd, a rematch at versus Floyd Mayweather. Who cares about Floyd Mayweather? I mean, this guy is a con man, a professional con man. And, to fight Broner is actually a dangerous fight for Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is nowhere near his prime. And Broner's a tough guy. He's got a granite chin. He's got hand speed. He's a talented guy. He's a jerk, but he's a talented guy. I think this is a mistake for Manny Pacquiao. And quite honestly, what has Floyd done to lay out a rule or a guideline, realistically, that's a better choice of words, a guideline for Manny to say, okay, you beat Broner, and then I'll fight you. Should Broner beat him, will Floyd fight Broner? So I don't know, man. What's your quick thoughts on the upcoming fight between Pacquiao and Adrian Broner?
This is just Manny Pacquiao not being able to say, it's time for me to go. He got a little bit overconfident with the Lucas Matisse win. He looked great, but again, Lucas Matisse was shot. Adrian Broner has been far from his best for quite a while. He's more or less reaching that opponent status, especially if he loses to Manny Pacquiao. As for Floyd Mayweather, he's retired. He's a showman. If you set your rule, it's kind of that reality show, and that's why I really don't pay much attention to these guys.
For anybody that doesn't see how one-sided everything Mayweather does. Forget it. I don't even. Let's talk about the upcoming heavyweight fight. It's going to be taking place. Deontay Wilder against Tyson Fury. This is an intriguing fight as well, even though I didn't think so several weeks ago, Dax. But the more I think about it now, we do see Tyson Fury is extremely serious. He's in good shape, believe it or not. Deontay Wilder's still talking about murdering him in the ring and doing all these things. The biggest mystery I have in my mind on this fight is why? Why did Tyson Fury take this fight? I mean, we've never heard any kind of, unless you have, I haven't heard any kind of money on this fight except splits of potential money, pay-per-view, revenue, etc. And although I think that the pay-per-view is going to do decent because it's a heavyweight fight, I don't think that either one of these guys are going to end up walking away with $10 million or more. I really don't. So what's your thoughts?
No, I don't think either guy is going to walk away with a big payday like that. Why is Tyson Fury taking this fight? Because Tyson Fury, no matter what you think of him outside of the ring, his antics, the way he presents himself, he sells himself, promotes himself, however you want to say it, he truly believes in himself as a fighter. And, Tyson Fury, he's been on the show several times. I remember one of my interviews with him. Tyson Fury, he says some of the stuff that when you're listening to him, it's almost hard to believe, when at the time David Price and Tyson Fury were supposed to be the big British showdown, and David Price had just lost to Tony Thompson by knockout. And Tyson Fury, I asked him, well, do you think this fight with you guys will happen anyway, because it is such a significant fight over in the UK? And he stops, and he gets real serious for a second, and how Tyson Fury, he looks at you at the corner of his eye and goes, let me tell you something. David Price was stopped by Tony Thompson. If I ever lost to a 40-year-old man, I would hide my head in the sand like an ostrich. I am chasing Klitschko. I want to be the champion of the world, and I'll chase him to the end of the earth. The only way David Price ever beats me is if I fall over him, because I didn't notice he was in the sand as I'm chasing Klitschko off the end of the earth, snatching him up to grab the titles out of his hand. And, then all of a sudden he was silent, and you're sitting there saying to yourself, can I take this seriously? And then Tyson Fury just burst out laughing. And 2 fights later, what does he do? He goes out there and he beats Vladimir Klitschko, and he was, the behind guy. He's had a couple of years off. He gets frustrated with the sport. He goes through some depression, some drug problems. He comes back 400 pounds. He doesn't really fight guys that are too nobody impressive names you heard of, but, nobody that would make you think, this guy is back. And now he's 250 pounds. He looks sensational. He has washboard abs. He's out there. He's confident. He believes in what he can do, and he's getting better. And he added Freddie Roach in there. Not that Freddie Roach is the main trainer, but Tyson Fury is a boxer. He's a mover. And with Freddie Roach in there, maybe they have some sort of idea, watching from maybe the Luis Ortiz fight, on how Tyson Fury can incorporate his movement. And Tyson Fury, who, despite his size, has never been really a big puncher because he doesn't sit down on his punches, maybe they're working on that. And Deontay Wilder, if all that falls together, can be in a lot of trouble. But the short answer and the long way answer, Bill, is just Tyson Fury believes in himself, and if nobody else is going to give him a chance, he's going to take on whoever's willing until you have to fight him, or you have to publicly come out and say, you know what, he's the man, I'm not.
Do you think that that Tyson Fury has the same punching power or more than Luis Ortiz?
He doesn't deliver his punches the same way. That was, that's my personal belief, not my knowledge, but belief. That's why they brought in Freddie Roach, as a way to kind of make Tyson Fury a more offensive fighter and get his punches off with a little bit more power. So this way he can, stall Deontay Wilder, because we have seen Deontay Wilder stalled, put against the ropes, not knocked down, but we have seen him, take punches and freeze up against the ropes, looking for that counter shot. And how productive is that going to be against a guy a lot bigger with a longer reach than he is, like Tyson Fury? So, and I believe that, Freddie Roach, who is the all-offense trainer, as we know. Look what he did with Manny Pacquiao. That's kind of why they incorporated him in there. So it's going to be very intriguing, and especially considering how big both men are. I think if Deontay Wilder doesn't knock Tyson Fury out, I think Tyson Fury is going to have a pretty easy time with him, and Deontay Wilder might even find himself embarrassed past the midway point.
The funny thing about bringing Freddie Roach in to help with his offense is that that's not Tyson Fury. I mean, Tyson Fury is a counterpuncher. He lays on you. He tires you down. He wears you out. He frustrates you, etc., etc. I don't think he's got the weapons from an offensive point of view. I've always thought for a guy his size, you get, he lands a punch on you, you should be knocked into the following week, and it just doesn't happen. You and I both watched Steve USS Cunningham hurt him. He was in all kinds of trouble in that fight. And Deontay, his power, his strength is his power. He doesn't have movement. He doesn't do much of anything else. He's going to be coming out to knock off Tyson Fury's head. I thought that the smartest approach would be the same kind of a game plan he implemented against Vladimir Klitschko. Deontay might throw more punches. He might let his hands go. I don't know if that's going to be an advantage or disadvantage, but I think Tyson Fury may very well expose Deontay Wilder should Deontay Wilder not be able to catch him. But if Wilder catches him, I've always thought that Tyson Fury does not have a solid chin. Recently Anthony Joshua said that he hopes and needs Deontay Wilder to beat Tyson Fury. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, Anthony Joshua has lost all credibility with me. Not that I don't like him. Not that I don't think he's a great fighter. Of course, we know he has the majority of the belts. But Anthony Joshua, you had your opportunity. I don't want to hear, well, Deontay Wilder didn't accept. Deontay Wilder was told if he fought, you are the unified champion. You're the draw. You have Eddie Hearn behind you. You can fight anywhere. You could have chose to fight Deontay Wilder in the backyard. You guys could have fought at the convenience store. It didn't matter. You chose not to. You wanted to have everything your way. You complain a lot. We hear people complain a lot all the time about these fighters that insist on having things their own way. We've heard it about Andre Ward. Everybody always complaining because Andre Ward needed to stay in Oakland all the time. Complaints about Adonis Stevenson never wanted to leave Canada. Complaints about Floyd Mayweather having to have things his way in Las Vegas. Anthony Joshua is doing the same thing over in the UK. Why does Anthony Joshua want Deontay Wilder to win over Tyson Fury? Because if Tyson Fury wins and brings that WBC title back over to the UK, Tyson Fury, who already has a huge fan following, will end up fighting Anthony Joshua under any circumstances. Tyson Fury will tell him, I'll fight you for free. Then Anthony Joshua is going to be boxed into a corner, and he's going to have no choice but to fight Tyson Fury or fight Deontay Wilder. So he has no choice here on who to fight, and maybe he'd rather fight Deontay Wilder because Tyson Fury, more or less, if he goes over and that happens in the UK and he should lose, he'd never be able to show his head on the street again. And if he should win, he would still probably never be able to show his head on the street again because everything leading up, Tyson Fury would drive him so crazy that Anthony Joshua would literally consider, I need to find something else to do. And that's that mind game of Tyson Fury. So Anthony Joshua wanted Deontay Wilder to win, great, but Anthony Joshua, as of right now, you're just a guy who's hoping you can avoid the big, you can avoid the best, in my opinion.
I think that the Tyson Fury fight with Anthony Joshua is there no matter what. Even if Tyson Fury loses, there'll be a big demand and a payday for both AJ and Tyson Fury.
But Bill, if Tyson Fury should beat Deontay Wilder and they go over and they fight in the UK for all those titles, in my opinion, that has the potential at this point in time, considering the fan following that Joshua has, how many people have tuned into his fights, especially with the Klitschko fight, the fan following Fury has. It might be the biggest heavyweight fight of all time, and not just stature. I'm talking about in terms of views, in terms of purse generated. I believe that could happen if it works out that way. I just don't know if Anthony Joshua wants it that bad.
Wants what that bad? I lost you.
Either Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. I don't think Anthony Joshua wants either one of them that bad.
You see, I totally disagree. But I think in terms of money, I think that should Deontay Wilder win the fight, that sets up AJ and Wilder if they could, come together. And then a Tyson Fury fight's always there for AJ, should he win, or even if he loses. If Deontay Wilder wins and Tyson Fury loses, and it sets up a fight between AJ and Wilder beats AJ, well, you got Tyson Fury and AJ fight all of a sudden. Both have a loss, and then the winner of that fight gets a rematch with Deontay. I could see a lot of stuff, but here's one thing before we let you go. Here's one thing I thought of. What do you think of this? Should Tyson Fury beat Deontay Wilder? My prediction is that Deontay Wilder will sign with Eddie Hearn right after that fight. He'll get another fight, get back on track, and then he'll make more money than he's ever made in his next two fights under Eddie Hearn. That's what I think will happen. What's your thoughts?
Absolutely. I've said it for a while, and people laugh at me, that Eddie Hearn, and I've said it on the show, and you kind of rolled your eyes at me when I said Eddie Hearn is slowly taking over the sport, and he's, came over to the U.S., and all these other fighters that whether or not they're with Heyman or any other promoter, are slowly signing with Eddie Hearn. Because look what Eddie Hearn does for you as soon as you sign with him. 2 guys signed with Eddie Hearn who had problems getting the big fights that they wanted, had problems getting the recognition that they deserved, had problems getting that spot in the public's eye where they should be, whether it's the first, second, or third of that division. And what happens? They both win world titles.
Hey, I didn't roll my eyes at you at that. I rolled them at many other things, but not that, Dax. Come on. Hey,
and Eddie Hearn is smart. He knows they slowly just and he's not stealing fighters. He's going out there and showing everybody, this is what I got to offer you. Come with me, and it's global. Eddie Hearn is doing the global thing. Boxing is a worldwide sport. So what's Eddie Hearn doing? He's bringing his company around the world. He's bringing his fighters around the world. You have any part of the world to be exposed on, to up your level, to the more popular you become, the bigger your paychecks become. Eddie Hearn's like a throwback promoter, and the fighters are loving it from what I can see.
No, you're 100% correct, and hopefully.
And he doesn't need the networks. He has his own network, so you never have to worry about who's going to broadcast you.
Yeah, but you know what? That network, I don't know if they're making a profit yet, but we'll, at least here in the States, we'll have to wait and see. But I look forward to talking about the post Wilder Fury fight next time, Dax. So appreciate the time, and we'll be looking forward to next week, brother.
All right, everybody, stay warm.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's Dax Khan. You can check out his column up on BillyCBoxing.com. Listen, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, Alex Papali will give us his thoughts. So don't go nowhere.
Billy C will be right back.
Osteoarthritis in one or both knees? If you have osteoarthritis in one or both knees, are you on Medicare, Obamacare, or other health insurance? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a prescription strength solution for osteoarthritis of the knees, covered by Medicare at little to absolutely no cost to you. We also offer a prescription strength topical pain relief ointment that can be used for pain experienced on other areas of your body. Our experienced staff will work with your doctor and handle all of your Medicare or insurance paperwork. Best of all, your prescription is shipped directly to your home for free. Will you qualify for a prescription strength solution for osteoarthritis of the knee or for a topical pain relief ointment covered by Medicare or private insurance at little or no cost to you?
Find out for free by calling the Back and Knee Pain Center at 1-800-604-1072. That's 1-800-604-1072, 1-800-604-1072.
Medical alarms for people who fall or have medical emergencies. You never think you'll need one until you do. Hi, I'm Lonnie Anderson for Advantage Alert. Today, our advanced systems locate and protect people inside and outside their homes, plus when they're on the road, allowing users with the press of a button to speak with an operator who can summon help. And even after 30 years, Advantage Alert's products remain amazingly affordable.
Call 800-985-1705.
Addiction is an epidemic in America. If you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, you need to call the R360 Network now.
I'm Ken Seeley, author, addiction recovery specialist, and former addict. R360 is a nationwide network of addiction recovery specialists that I personally selected and recommend.
The call is free, the consultation is free. If you have private insurance, your treatment could be covered with no out-of-pocket cost.
Call 800-705-0023.
Addiction.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C., the only radio host man enough to take a punch from Mike Tyson.
Wait a minute, man. Hold on there. Jeremy, man, I need you to take this one, all right?
Wait, what? No way. I can't do this.
Need I remind you I'm Billy C., damn it? Now put on that mustache and get in there.
Hey, look at me. I'm Billy C. Crap.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're watching and listening to the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us. You know, I hate squirrels. Yeah, I mean, I love wildlife, right? But I hate squirrels. You know, you set up a bird feeder so the birds can eat, right? It's called a bird feeder. But yet the squirrels like to come in and ruin the party, you know, and they ruin it for everybody. And I am vowing to kill every freaking squirrel that I possibly can. And speaking of ruining the party, I think Tyson Fury is trying to ruin the party of Deontay Wilder. Joining us to get his thoughts right now is my man Alex Perpali. Good morning, Alex. Can you hear me, Alex? You see, now Alex can't hear me, but I can hear him. So we will tell him that he can't hear me. But in any event, we'll get him set here in a second because, he can't, this is a guy that's technically inclined to do things, but apparently, he's not that technical since he can't figure out his own stuff. But anyway, I talked while Alex gets his stuff together. The Manny Pacquiao fight is something that has, in my opinion, a stupid move for Manny, Broner, and everything else. So as soon as Alex can hear me, he will give me some kind of a signal, I think. But in any event, I think that Manny Pacquiao made a big mistake by taking that fight against Adrian Broner, and I think that ultimately it's going to hurt him. Now, should he beat Adrian Broner, then I think that Floyd probably won't fight him. So we will see. But I think that was a big risk for him. But anyway, talking about Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, I think that I'm going to take a short break. Well, I guess I'm not now because this was not planned. But my man Alex is missing the boat here with the sound, so we'll give him one more chance. But speaking of Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, the way this fight seems to be going, in my opinion, is simply, it's going to boil down to Deontay Wilder being able to not get frustrated. I think what Deontay Wilder has to do is box. It's I think that Tyson Fury is going to do what Tyson Fury does, and ultimately, what happens with Tyson Fury is that he frustrates his opponents. He leans on them. He makes them do things they don't really want to do, and he ultimately wins a boring fight. But anyway, hang tight. We're going to take a short break, and let me see if I can't get Alex squared away here. So, and it's totally on Alex's end, for the record.
Billy C will be right back. Part of the Billy C Boxing Network.
Listen to this important message. If you owe money to the IRS, you will want to hear this. Penalties and interest compound daily on your back taxes, putting you under a mountain of debt. Tax 10,000 has years of experience connecting people with tax resolution specialists. Working through the IRS Fresh Start program, they will handle all the necessary forms, and if you qualify, you may end up saving thousands of dollars. Call Tax 10,000 at 800-773-4604.
Need relief from backaches and stiffness in your hips or down your legs? Then you need Dr. Ho's Back Relief Belt. The innovative technology works to support and decompress your spine. And now it's covered by Medicare.
Every patient with back pain should be wearing this belt.
Nothing gave me instant relief except for the Dr. Ho belt.
Feel good while standing, walking, driving, doing housework, and while laying down. And now Dr. Ho's patented belt is available at our best price ever. It's even covered by Medicare. Order now and get the easy-to-use hand pump and back rehabilitation DVD free.
You know, similar belts can cost you almost $1,000, but my belts won't cost you $500, not $300, not even $200. I will give you my special TV price.
And remember, Dr. Ho's belt is covered by Medicare.
If you know a friend or family member that suffers with pain, get them my system today. Help them live with less pain, be more active, and get back to doing the things they love. Give them the gift of health.
Broken air conditioning, $4,400. Failing refrigerator, $2,500. Don't let outrageous repair and replacement bills like these bust your budget. Get the First American Home Warranty Plan. And when a covered appliance or system breaks, we'll repair it or replace it for you.
We had a high-end dishwasher go kaput.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you!
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back again. You know, the worst part of this whole little, technical burp that Alex seems to have is he missed my whole squirrel bit. Joining us right now is Alex Perpali, for real this time. What's up, Alex?
Hey, Billy C., how are you?
What the heck are you doing over there?
I don't know. You know, it's weird. It seems like it's almost like I need to set the computer to know that the Yeti is there before I even go on Skype. Because if you do it, I don't know, it just seems, because all I did was like tell it the same thing 3 or 4 times. Then I untold it and then told it again. It doesn't make sense, but it's glitchy.
Put your foot down, damn it. But anyway, let's talk about the big fight, since you're almost out of time now. But no, since you're screwing around with your setting. But Deontay Wilder against Tyson Fury. I've been talking about this fight. At first, like I was saying with Dax, at first I thought that it was a joke. I do believe that Deontay Wilder has freakish punching power. I do believe that Tyson Fury has a suspect chin. I also, when I look through the resumes, I see that Deontay Wilder, like I've said to everyone, the guy's never fought anyone except for Luis Ortiz. But when you look at Tyson Fury, he too hasn't fought anyone really. When you really dissect his opponents, he's been carefully moved. His biggest win was Vladimir Klitschko. So both these guys are moving into a fight against against each other with their biggest wins coming against aging fighters. And you have to go back to the basics, in my opinion. Deontay Wilder's a power puncher. Tyson Fury holds you, he frustrates you, and he wins on points decisions. How do you think this fight's going to go, Alex?
I think that it's going to be very ugly. I think it's going to be frustrating, but I think it's going to be fascinating. I'm really looking forward to it quite a bit. The thing about it that, Tyson Fury is probably the most inappropriately named heavyweight ever, only because you get no clues to his style from his name. He doesn't fight like Tyson, and he doesn't fight furiously. He's a stylist, which is strange to see such a gigantic human being in that role. So this is a slugger versus stylist. I think that you're right. I think that it's weird. It's rare to have a clash between two undefeated heavyweights, both who have called themselves champion, where there's a lot of questions about both of them. And I think you're right, because neither one of them has had that really defining fight. I mean, you can't help but say Fury's was against Klitschko, but that was 3 years ago, and he's been through hell and back between then, since then. Wilder, his biggest defining fight was the first fight against Berman Stavern, and then certainly the one that gave him all the credibility that he has now is the win over Luis Ortiz. So yeah, it is sort of strange when you have these guys with, that are both over 30, 30 and 33, where you don't have, like 4 or 5 fights to say, well, this is what we can expect. You're right. I don't think Fury has the greatest chin, but you have to hit the chin. And Fury's very good at frustrating a guy. And I think that stylistically, this is going to be an interesting and a difficult fight, a lot more difficult of a matchup for Wilder than people think it is. I don't think he's going to blow through him, but I do think Wilder will probably catch him before the end of the fight. The question is, what does he do when he gets frustrated?
And first of all, I right now my thought is that Wilder is going to knock him out. But there's something in this fight that a lot of people, and I've said this many times on this show concerning the Klitschko brothers, and it's something that was obvious to me. And then when I started talking about it, people kept coming up to me, and saying, you were right. I never thought of it that way. And what it was that, when the Klitschko brothers hit the scene in the beginning of their careers, they had trouble with small fighters, and they became proficient at changing their styles. If you look at video, you'll see they both started learning how to punch downward to get the maximum power and so on and so forth. And for a whole basically years after years, they were fighting smaller guys, and lo and behold, now all of a sudden the heavyweight division is guys the same size, and they had to reinvent themselves, and they had a couple of little bumps in the road. Well, Deontay Wilder has yet to fight a guy the same size as him or bigger. This is going to be the first time he steps in the ring with someone who's talented. I'm sure they're getting sparring partners in there that are big, but this is the first time he's stepping in the ring with a talented fighter who's actually bigger than him. And I think that is more of an issue than people seem to talk about or even think of. And I think that is one of Tyson Fury's, in addition to his frustrating style, I think that is one of the biggest pros that he has going for him moving into this fight, because I don't think that you can really get the feel of fighting a bigger guy in sparring, especially if the bigger guys than Deontay Wilder are hard to find, especially talented ones. What's your thoughts on that analogy that Deontay Wilder has a disadvantage because he's never really fought a good, bigger fighter than himself?
I think you're absolutely right. I think that's going to be the big thing. I think that was the big thing that that Fury brought to the table that threw Klitschko for a loop. You're not used to seeing a man that big. He doesn't hit hard, but he hits hard. Any heavyweight hits hard enough that if you don't see the shot coming, and you're not able to brace yourself for it, you can be in trouble. And I think that's the thing that Fury brings to the table, is that not only is he longer and taller than you expect once you see it in there, and his style is that he is able to hit you with enough power from those strange angles that you hesitate. That's what Klitschko did. That's how he beat Klitschko. It was a stunning upset when he defeated Klitschko, but it was dreadful to watch because so much of it was just hesitant, and it was like that Klitschko's confidence was sapped. That's the thing that's interesting here. Both these guys are just spewing with confidence. So how long does it take Wilder to get frustrated if he has a hard time getting his power to the target, which we know he will because he fights and swings so wildly now. It's going to be difficult to get through those long arms and that style of Fury. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it because I think I think Fury, from what I listened to some of, a friend of mine was over last night watching the HBO fights, and he has Sirius Radio, and LL Cool J has a show on there, and they both were interviewed on there. So I listened to both guys' interviews. Fury definitely has, from the game plan he's talking about, I think that will work. Is he's looking to make Wilder fight a long, frustrating fight. That, I think, is going to work. But the thing, you never know what's going to happen when you get hit harder than you've ever been hit. And I think that's one of the factors that's going to happen, is that Wilder has never faced a guy this size with this kind of sort of punching arsenal. And I don't think that, and of course, Fury has never fought anybody with the power that Wilder. So both those two things are going to be the intangibles. We don't know until the bell rings, but I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Well, I think Klitschko has the same power as Wilder. I think what makes Wilder so unique is that his physique is much smaller in terms of, girth and mass. Yes, he's tall and lanky, but he's more built like a basketball player, in my opinion. I think that Deontay Wilder is going to, first of all, I think that he showed us that he has a jab. Mark Breland, I think, is a really good trainer. Unfortunately, he's training Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder showed us that he was disciplined and had a jab in the first Stavern fight. But we have never seen it since. And the reason why we haven't seen it is because he hasn't had any fear. Like you said, he's overflown with confidence. He hasn't had any fear of a fighter like he did in the first Stavern fight. He was very cautious in that fight. But since then, between the voices in his ears and between the knockouts and between the self-promotion, he's actually believing that he's a killer. He's believing all these things. And when he gets in trouble, when he fought Luis Ortiz, he was in trouble. Not only, ready to go down, but he was in trouble because of things you just said. He was being frustrated. He couldn't land his punches clearly. He was being counterpunched. He was getting everything he's going to get next week against Tyson Fury. And the thing is what happens in every fighter, I don't care if you're a strawweight or a heavyweight, every fighter, when they're in trouble, when push comes to shove, when the money's on the line, so to speak, they always revert back to what comes naturally to them. And if you're a brawler and all of a sudden somebody's trying to make you into a boxer, or if you're a boxer and somebody's trying to make you into a brawler, when you're in trouble, you revert back to what comes as naturally as possible. And with Deontay Wilder, what comes naturally to him, in his mind, in his squirrel brain mind, that he is a power puncher. And he is going to revert back to that and go in for the kill. The question is can he land a punch on Tyson Fury? Is Tyson Fury's defense that tight?
Yeah, and I think also that Wilder's attack is that flawed that I think Fury will be able to block it and will be able to counter it. At least that's what I suspect, because I do think the big thing here is, remember, in a way, this is sort of a consolation prize fight, because the Joshua fight is the one that, is the one everybody wants to see. This fight is the fight that maybe, we wanted to see 2.5 years ago. So I think because of what Fury has been through, even though it's in terms of a personal victory, for him to be in this ring at all, after having, sort of dealt with drug addiction and mental illness and gaining and then losing over 100 pounds. I mean, in terms of personal triumphs, it's great just that he gets to the ring. The thing is that all those things in your past, it could show very quickly. Within 6 rounds, he might be gassed out, because if he's got to fend off Wilder's rushes, that's going to show on him conditioning wise. So I don't know. I think I agree with you that Wilder eventually stops him. But I do think it's going to be very intriguing because both these guys are so confident. Neither one has lost. So sometimes when a guy's undefeated, it's hard for them to deal with losing. And because it's like not in their atmosphere, it's not in their universe. So they fight with this confidence that, you don't see in guys who have, taken a few losses. So I don't know. This is going to be interesting because it's going to be undiscovered territory for both guys. But I think that's great news for fans.
One of the most solid punches that Tyson Fury delivers, similarly to AJ, is an uppercut. And that's the punch that I think is I think Deontay's most vulnerable to.
Didn't Ortiz hurt him with an uppercut?
Oh, yeah. And the thing is that Tyson Fury has a way of getting in there and holding you close so he can land the uppercut. Now, he doesn't have the power, but I still don't believe that Wilder has the chin. I know you were a big Ortiz fan. I got to call 2 of his fights. You called one of them with me. For a big guy, he too didn't have much power. So I don't know. I think that Wilder, his chin proved that he could handle a Tyson Fury. But the one thing that no one's done yet with Wilder, and maybe it's because they're afraid of his power, no one's really worked that body. That body is the weakness of Deontay Wilder. I don't care how many ripples are in it. I don't care how tight it is. It's too small. I think that Tyson Fury needs to work that body. He needs to get inside. He needs to tie up. And it's so strange to be talking about a 7-foot tall guy and saying he's got to get inside and fight. But he does against Deontay Wilder. I think Wilder will get frustrated. And I think that Wilder swinging for the fences and missing or hitting an arm or something like that is going to tire him out more. I don't think, and you make a great point about the mileage, so to speak, on Tyson Fury going through whatever he went through in the last several years. But I think on fight night, I think the guy who's in better position to stay fresher longer will be Tyson Fury, even though I've never really seen Deontay Wilder tired, to be honest with you. He's in incredible shape all the time, but he's never had a 250-pounder leaning on him and holding him and tucking his arms under his and stuff like that. I think it's gonna affect Wilder. Wilder might start getting lippy. Tyson Fury might kiss him a couple of times. I don't know, but I do think that, like you, I think it's going to be a boring fight, but I think it's going to be an interesting fight. If Tyson Fury can make it to the final bell, he's going to win the fight. That's what I think, but I don't think that that's going to happen. I have a feeling Deontay Wilder is going to knock him out. I'm rooting for Tyson Fury, but I have a feeling Deontay Wilder will knock him out, and then we're going to have a major problem on our hands because Deontay Wilder is actually going to believe that he's the best heavyweight on the planet. And I'm sorry, Anthony Joshua is the best heavyweight out there.
I'm pretty sure Deontay Wilder believes it already, but you're right. I think that I think a lot more people will believe it along with him. But yeah, it's stunning to me the way he talks about himself. Well, I guess it should. It's not stunning. I mean, that's what fighters should do: is talk about themselves being unbeatable, whatever. But he has no problem with confidence. That's for sure. If he stops Tyson Fury in a similar fashion to what he did with Ortiz, I'd be impressed. It's not. I mean, it would definitely go more to flesh out his resume in terms of being the best heavyweight on earth. But no, in terms of we're not going to know that until Wilder and Joshua clash. You're right. I at least that's my feeling. But this definitely should add to the bragging rights if he scores a KO here. That's for sure.
Oh, definitely. Your official prediction?
I'm going to go with Wilder by 11th round TKO.
Wow.
In a fight that's frustrating, but has its moments and has at least 2 Moro Ronaldo Mamma Mia's.
I hate that bastard. I can't stand him. I think that if Tyson Fury gets stopped, it's going to be earlier. I think he'll just underestimate the pop that Wilder has, and it will take place in maybe the 6th or 8th round. If it goes beyond the 8th, I'm leaning towards the Tyson Fury. I wouldn't be surprised if Tyson Fury comes out and wins the first half of the fight, fairly easily. So we'll see what happens. But Alex, I appreciate it. I look forward to you next week as we talk post Wilder Fury. We'll be excited about that for sure, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it because I broke up with Xfinity Comcast there, so I will be watching, or at least I'm looking forward to watching this fight at the movie theater.
Just be careful walking in. Rumor has it you may be staggering a bit. So
that's true.
Alex, we'll look forward to you next week. Make sure your system is working fine, okay?
Will do. Take care, Billy C.
All right, my man. That's Alex Papali. You will catch him and myself and DaxCon next week. So listen, we appreciate it. I apologize for the technical difficulties we had in the beginning of the show. But hey, make sure you tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, I'll leave you with this. Ciao, baby.